Hello, everybody, and welcome to Coffee Chats with Kelly. This is the podcast where we discuss all things business. I'm your host, Kelly Thomas. I'm the owner and founder of Design by Kelly. It's a Houston-based design company specializing in website design, branding, graphic design, and social media management for small businesses and nonprofits. Today, I have the pleasure of chatting over a cup of coffee with Dozie Oheri. She is the founder and CEO of Choose to Do Incorporated, a nonprofit organization located in Houston, Texas. Her organization is dedicated to building confidence and self-esteem in underserved Black youth. Dozie is the child of Nigerian immigrants and was born and raised in Houston. She started Choose to Do because of her experience as an educator, caregiver, and from her personal growth and development. Today, we're excited to learn more about this amazing organization and the impact they have on their local community. So grab your coffee, get comfortable, and let's dive into their mission, programs, and the incredible impact they are making in the lives of young people. "15 to 45 seconds. That's how long a visitor stays on your website before they decide if they're going to leave or stay. So how do you get them to stay? That's where I come in. My name is Kelly Thomas, and I am the owner and founder of Design by Kelly. At Design by Kelly, we offer affordable design solutions for nonprofits and small businesses in the areas of web design, branding, graphic design, and social media management. You can visit us online at designbykelly.org to learn more about our affordable services, to view our portfolio, and to see what our clients say about working with us. Then schedule a free, no-pressure 30-minute consultation with us where we can show you how to turn those website visitors into leads. Contact us today, and let's build something great together." Thank you, everyone, for joining us today on the podcast. I'm excited to have with me today Dozie and to learn more about Choose to Do. So let's start by understanding more about the organization. Can you tell us a little bit more about what inspired you to start Choose to Do?
First, I want to say thank you for having me. I'm really appreciative of the opportunity to come talk to you and talk to your audience. So my name is Dozie Oheri, and I'm the founder and CEO of Choose to Do Inc. A little bit of my backstory is essentially I started the organization because I am mentoring my younger self, right? The giving myself the things that I needed that I didn't have as a young adult, right? I had suffered with anxiety and depression at a very young age and didn't really know how to deal with that. Didn't have the tools, didn't have the support to handle that, right? And then I went off to college, and in college I had a breakdown. I had a breakdown which lasted for a long time. And when I was in college, I started seeing a counselor on campus because it was included in our tuition. And I got the idea to go talk to somebody about what I was feeling. And that kind of led me to start seeing a therapist, right? And that was in 2008, right? Around that time. And so therapy really did save my life, right? It gave me the tools to be able to manage what I was, my anxiety, manage my depression, or I won't say manage, but like to work through those things in a healthy way. Mm-hmm. Choose to Doing now is doing just that. It's the tools that I learned as an adult on how to deal with my younger self, right? And passing that on to the kids who maybe come from similar backgrounds like I did, right? Or different backgrounds, but they are needing figures in their lives to provide them with emotional support.
That's amazing. And I love how you take your story and what you went through, whether good or bad, and just create it into something beautiful. So that's really cool.
Thank you.
So can you tell us a little bit about the different programs like Breaking the Cycle and the Mindfulness Project and how they empower the Black youth?
Sure. So I'm going to let Crystal jump in on this one as well, because with some of her experience with Breaking the Cycle and some of our programs. But Breaking the Cycle is a program that I created based on the lessons that I had learned in therapy. So each class with Breaking the Cycle focuses on something that I learned in therapy and the trajectory and the journey that I took to work through my own I don't say issues, but work through my own stuff, right? And so I'll let Crystal talk more about the program itself.
Breaking the Cycle was really successful this year. So it has it runs over 5 weeks. So there's 5 different classes, and different students come each week, or they can come to each class. And it's really wonderful because they provide so many different activities and avenues for people to express themselves and how to properly manage with the different emotions that they feel. And it was really great because at the very last class, we were really grateful to have companies like Kendra Scott and like Black Impact Houston, Children's Museum of Houston, and Lonza, and they really helped to give like gifts for the students to take home at the very end. So I know some of them got jewelry or like hair care products, which really helps like boost the self-esteem of the students who are coming home after the classes. So I really thought that Breaking the Cycle was just a really great way to empower the next generation.
Wow. So it's great to hear about your programs. It's just amazing what y'all are doing and how you're making a difference. So can you tell us more about the impact your organization has had in the last 7 years?
Yeah, so since 2016, we've mentored over 500 youth, Black and Brown youth. Our focus is Black teens, but we don't discriminate. You know, we work with whomever we have at that time and with that program and at that class, right? And we've been able to partner with about 40 different companies that contribute either financially or through volunteering opportunities to our kids, right? And then that allows us to provide a different, to provide exposure for our kids to learn different life skills, right? And on top of that, we also have our internship program and kind of positions that we've crafted where also middle school students, high school students, college students, and working adults, like for example, Crystal, who's one of our interns, they fill a position within the organization and they get to also build up their skill sets, and we still support them in mentorship, right?
That's awesome. So I have a big heart for what you do. You may not know this, but I have part of my business have a give back program. And one of the things I do is I teach free graphic design classes to inner city kids. And so I work with an organization, a nonprofit right now out of St. Louis. And I work with their underserved Black youth as well, ages 13 to 18. And it's fun. I teach a 6-week course and I teach them to actually how to design a mock business. So they go through the whole process. They design a business, a name, an audience, a logo, a website, like the whole process. And it's really cool because they want to learn, you know, they just don't have all the opportunities that everyone else does. And it's a shame
right.
They don't have that. And so I love it. I spend 6 months with them. Once a month we meet and they do an assignment and we go over it and we review it. And then the cool part is we recognize them at this big event in November and they don't know it, but everyone that completes the class, we get to hand them a free laptop.
Oh,
It's
wow.
really amazing and I love it. I would have to say, out of all the things I do, it's probably my favorite thing I do because I love to teach. And it's just so rewarding, and not only for them, for me. I mean, I've learned so much. So I have a great respect for what y'all do. And I think it's absolutely amazing that you're doing that for them.
Thank you. We're gonna have to have you come out to work with our kids maybe at some point.
I do it a lot. I teach through Zoom and all other sorts of stuff. So that would be awesome. I am open to that for sure. You just let me know.
Okay.
So I wanted to take a few minutes to answer your question you guys asked me. So you wanted to know if there was an effective way to use social media to recruit volunteers. So before I do that, can you share with me a little bit? Are you all using social media for that currently? Is it working for you, not working for you? Any success with it at all?
I'm going to let Crystal take it away.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm the market communications intern. So I handle the Instagram portion of it. Choose to Do Inc. also handles Twitter and TikTok at the moment. They also like branch out for emails. Those are what the other interns are handling. So I have more experience with the Instagram. So what we've been doing is we have like a content calendar. So we post on Mondays and Fridays, and that can be through like a reel or a post or a story. And then other ways of engagement includes like commenting on other posts and really showing our love and support for people who also have similar missions. And that's kind of how we try to engage with the community. What's been working so far is having like real images of the impact that Choose to Do Inc. has, which has been great because it really shows like how exactly are you working with the kids. It's the amount of engagements that we have. We seem to get a lot of good feedback from when we're commenting on other posts, but not so much of it gets funneled back to the account itself.
Okay. So according to recent reports, anyway, over 60.7 million Americans volunteer through organizations like yours. So the good news is they're out there, right? So it's just how do we find them? How do we engage them? How do we attract them? And how do we bring them back to you? So let me give you some actionable steps that will hopefully help you a little bit with this and how you find them. So the key actually, and some people think they could just should post as much as they can everywhere they can. And that's actually not the answer. So it's all about building relationships and trust, which is really what social media is about in the first place, right? So the way you do that with social media is a little different. So here's a few suggestions I have for you, and maybe you can take these and use them as a framework for other things you're trying to do as well. So to begin with, social media alone isn't going to do it for you, okay? Your website and your social media for volunteers really have to work together hand in hand. So when using social media to recruit volunteers, it's essential, first of all, to include a next step or a call to action, as we say. So if you're not doing that in your post, that might be one reason why you're missing a great group of people. You always have to put a next step in there, like, where do I go to volunteer? Where do I go to get more information? Because they're not going to go look for it. Users want everything done for them, easy, simply, right in front of them. So first of all, you need to make sure you're telling them where to go and where to find that information. So that's where your website comes into play. So your website should be designed with a clear pathway to provide visitors to more information and a platform where they can sign up to volunteer, or at least see what volunteer things are available. So if a visitor has to search extensively on your website, or if they have to click more than one time, they're out. So that's a good rule of thumb there, okay? So everything you do on your website should always be catered to your visitor. So one thing I tell my clients all the time is your social media and your website is actually not about you. It's about your visitors. So you got to make sure that everything you're laying out is for them so they can follow the pathway easily. So let me start with the website, and then I'll get more into that social media piece for you. But every page of your website should prominently have a spot that highlights volunteers. And what I see a lot with nonprofits is they're really good at putting the donate button everywhere, right? Because we all know you need money, but they never put a volunteer button, or they call it something like make a difference. And people are like, what's that? So I always say, call it volunteer, put it out there as much as you put out your donate button, put it in your header, put it in your footer, make sure it's there and so that people see it. Some people may think donation is volunteer too, because it's donation of time, which it is, but the users don't think about that. They don't see donate as volunteer. They see that as a financial thing. So I always encourage people to kind of separate those out. And what you really need on your website is a page dedicated just to volunteering, okay? And I always tell people, keep that page simple. You could have things like images of your volunteers, testimonials from your volunteers. Maybe you could even get some video testimonials, places you do, things where you are, pictures of them volunteering with the kids. Really, it needs to be like a story. So what you're trying to do is pull people in. So they're seeing your story, they see where you are, what you're accomplishing, how you're touching lives. So you're building the relationship, right? They're seeing the story, they're seeing the story. And then as they go down, there should be another button they can opt into that takes them to a separate page where the volunteer opportunities are and the application or the process of how to apply. So two separate things, the volunteer page and then a page that has the jobs and the application. And you need this because when you're in social media, people need some place to go to sign up, okay? Another step you should not skip on your website is SEO, which is search engine optimization. So make sure you're out there researching all the keywords and the phrases that people use to find volunteer opportunities in your area. That could be things like volunteer opportunities with youth in Houston, Texas. Maybe that's where they're looking. And then you need to take all those keywords and those phrases and you need to work them into your content on your website You need to work them into your meta tags, your meta descriptions, and then you also need to work them into your social media content, because they're all going to work together to draw people to that website again, so they can see what you're doing, see what's available, and then apply. And remember, your website, a lot of people think it's like just informational or it's like a brochure. It's not. It is a two-way conversation. It's between you and your volunteers and your donors. So make sure you're looking at it that way. Another tip that I would highly suggest is at the bottom of your volunteer page, you have a place for people to sign up for an email for volunteers. This can be for your current volunteers as well as people that are interested. And then monthly, you can send out an email newsletter, and you can have things like volunteer testimonials, the volunteer of the month, showcase image of current volunteer opportunities, and then end up with a way people can volunteer, what's open. Of course, you're going to drive them back to that website again, where they're going to look at the volunteer page and apply. Email marketing is not dead, okay? It actually is more effective than social media. So email campaigns can generate 50 to 100 times higher click-through rates than Facebook can. So I always encourage people, make sure you're using it along with the website and the social media. Because social media could close tomorrow. And if it does, you lose all your followers because you don't have them anywhere else. So if you can get them to your website and get them on an email list, then you can always keep them in front of you. And remember, they do say the average person has to come into contact with your stuff like 7 times before they interact with you the first time. That's a lot. So you kind of have to keep in front of them with stuff of value. I always say, don't waste their time. If you're going to send them something, make sure it's something of value or something they want to read. You don't want to spam them for any reason whatsoever. And then when you get into social media, so some types of posts you could do things like the 10 things you don't know about Choose to Do, 5 steps for how to empower underserved youth, the ultimate guide to volunteering at Choose to Do, a self-care list for volunteers. You could do current volunteer testimonials or current volunteer stories and videos, images of your volunteers and your students working together. Polls and questions are really popular. What kind of volunteer are you? Why do you volunteer? All those kind of things, anything that's going to build engagement and ask questions and get them to comment so that you can go back and forth. And then, of course, make sure you go back and you read the comments and you connect with those people back and forth. So you want anything that's going to build that relationship and the trust, like I said in the beginning. So remember that your content and your images on social media are actually both equally important. So make sure any images you're putting on there or any graphics you're creating are definitely on brand and professional. Make sure you're checking your grammar, make sure they're well written, and make sure they have all those keywords in there, all those kind of things. And the same with your content, because you want everything to be on brand and to sound like you, obviously, every time that you're there. So people volunteer because they want to contribute to something larger than themselves and make a positive impact. I mean, that's why people volunteer. So in every post, just make sure you're communicating how they can make a difference through your organization. And then the call to action, how to send them to that website page so that they can sign up. So I know that's a lot of information. Hopefully it was a little bit helpful. Do you think it'll give you a good starting point?
Yeah, thank you so much. That was really good to learn some more information about what we could do to really better our outreach. I really appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome. It's a big job, but it's rewarding and a lot of fun for sure. So before we wrap up, can you share with everybody where they can find your website, where they can find your volunteer information, and do you have any immediate needs you need filled?
People can find the website at choosetodoinc.org, and it's also linked in the bio of our Instagram as well. We have a link tree, so anything that you're looking for, you can find it in that link tree. So we're looking for volunteers. We're looking for people to also help us like financially with the donations. We currently have one event coming up, which is our donor appreciation event, which is July 1st. We're looking for volunteers and participants. So if they go onto the Choose to Do Inc. website, they can register on there and just look out for all the great things to come. We have an email newsletter, so you can always stay in the loop, and we're always here to help and support.
That's awesome. Thank you both so much for joining me today. And if you are listening, please consider reaching out to Dozie and her team and offering your support. Before we conclude, could you please provide any contact details for our listeners where they can find you, including email or social media where they can follow you?
So you can find our contact information on our website under the Contact Us tab. My name is Dozie Oheri. If you're looking for me specifically, you can email me at doheri@choosetodoinc.org with any questions about the organization, or call us at 713-291-6141.
Awesome, thanks. And I'll be sure to put all that information in the description as well below so people can reach you. Thanks to both of you for joining us today and for sharing your incredible work of Choose to Do. It's very inspiring, and I have a great respect for what you do. I think it's amazing. I love to see people inspiring, empowering our future generations. So to all of you listening today, remember that the power to empower lies within each of us. So please support organizations like Choose to Do, and let's work together to create a brighter future for our youth. And if you need help with setting up your volunteer page or need assistance with your social media or email marketing, we would love for you to reach out to us at Design by Kelly, where our mission is to provide small businesses and nonprofits with a unique brand, captivating website, stunning graphic designs, and engaging social media strategies that resonate with your target audience. Whether you're looking to revamp your online presence or start from scratch, we're ready to help you achieve your goals. We have several free resources on our website that can get you started. You can visit us online at www.designedbykelly.org and sign up for a free discovery call to get started today. Thank you again for joining us, and thank you to our listeners for tuning in, and we'll catch you in the next episode of Coffee Chats with Kelly.